Hello and welcome to the 43rd Planet Destiny podcast. We have the normal crew here, and then we have a returning guest, actually very recently returning guest.
What is going on, guys? Versus the stream here, coming for another time.
That was a really big delay. It's a
really big. It's the whole Discord thing, so it's odd.
Okay, so sometimes there's going to be delays on this. It'll be great for editing.
Awesome.
Anyway, guys, yeah, Versus the stream is here. By the way, we're recording this on Wednesday instead of their normal Thursday time, so we're not going to be able to talk about the weekly update because we don't know what's on that.
I don't mind talking about it.
I'm going on. We can talk about it.
We can speculate what's going to be on it.
From the future.
Speculate about the update.
We don't have time to explain about it, guys. We don't have time to explain about it.
Bungie.
So
Bungie introduced bunnies into the town.
we have Trials of Osiris to talk about because Trials of Osiris came out, and fuck it. What are you guys' opinions about Trials?
Too easy.
I like that. I don't know when you went into it.
I love
but
that.
I went into it. So I went into Trials the minute it went live, and I've never gone against sweatier people than that first hour. Never in my life in Destiny history. Never.
Oh,
Like,
it never changed
like,
versus it was it was harder. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not for us.
So are you just saying this because you got your ass handed to you and now you're like, saying, oh, they were really hard? Or?
Well, I don't want to say ass-handed because, Tefty, I, and Blue went flawless with no boons and masks on this couple days ago. So,
all right. Well, then you got something to talk about. Let's hear more.
We did it on Monday.
So I'm assuming what happened was how everyone's been fiending for Trials to come back. So you have all your hardcore PvP players getting ready and just literally just ready on the count for it to go live. And my card compared to that first hour, compared to when me, Tefty, Blue, and I went in on Monday night, were completely different. It seemed the sweaties got their Trials cards fixed. They're good to go. And all the people who were left out and didn't really run that weekend were finishing up their cards. So I definitely noticed a difference in skill level that first day throughout the rest of the weekend.
My normal team, we went in. I think it was 2 hours after it went live, and for the first hour, for the first hour of that stream, it was really it was a lot more difficult than we were used to. We were having to. We couldn't bullshit in the stream. We had to actually we had to pay attention, do proper call outs and everything. Couldn't just go, running around, focusing on chat more often, having playful banter. No, we were actually having to have some pretty sweaty matches there. Overall really, really fun though. But then once we started our second card, I forgot to buy boons and we were like, oh God, this is going to suck. We're totally going to get on our 8th. And no, we were fine. We went 9-0 legit. Mm-hmm. So that was cool.
I found it harder to help somebody this time around. I'm not,
those last.
I'm a average to above average PvP player. I don't really consider myself someone that can really carry 2 players through Trials, right? That's kind of the mark that I think if you're that good, and you can carry 2 people that are just new to this, maybe PvP, that you have something to talk about. But I found it difficult to help my friends that maybe were not as good at PvP.
I didn't really help as many people this time, but why do you think that is, though? Was it something like, was it them, or was it just the competition was harder, did you find?
I feel like that when you got to 8-0, it was matching you up against other people with 8-0, and it really mattered at that point that you had 3 good players at that point. Once you get one player down, it just felt like it was just more stiffer competition, and having 3 good players was more important. And I feel like that this time around, and I know that we've kind of reiterated this, but it really felt like you were having to go in there prepared.
Yeah, no, the matchmaking definitely felt like that. Where those last couple of matches, I think around like match 6, if you were like 6-0 on the card, that's where you could start to visibly see a difference in your opponents.
Agreed.
You were getting some really more difficult games.
Do you guys like this change?
I personally
think it's a good
that.
change? Do you think it makes it too hard, too restricting, or do you think this is really going to separate the elite from kind of the chat?
I think it's good. I think, like we talked about,
I think it's exciting.
I remember when last time I was on here, we talked about PvP and how we wanted people to have more to look forward to in PvP and reasons to get better. I think Trials of Osiris this time around to really give those people a boost and like this huge boost of just drive and wanting to get better at it. So next time they rolls by, like, hey, I want that I want that chest. I want to go to the lighthouse and get this. But last week we did terrible, so let's work on it this week and really get good. Or get better, figure out what's going on, and get that loot,
So another change they made is they are now rewarding you gear when you win a match at the end of the match, right? So once you get past, is it the 5th win or is it past 5 wins? You can start getting Trials of Osiris armor. You like that change? Do you think that stuff should be...
And weapons too.
Do you think that...
I think that was a very positive change and something that needed to happen.
To me, it seems like it'll entice people to keep going after they've wrecked their chance on their card for the lighthouse, but they still can continue that card and still get good gear.
Also, the bounties.
I found it was the best place to farm legendary gear.
Really?
To be honest with you, to get legendary engrams, or to get legendary marks, because we just stayed in after and kept playing, and every 2-3 games you'd be getting a legendary drop, and it would be the trials gear, but you just dismantle it and get legendary marks. So it felt like the equivalent of a strike grind.
I didn't get to play it this weekend. I went away, so some of these questions I'm asking out of curiosity. But the lighthouse, was there any changes in the lighthouse this time around?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
Like, I was really disappointed with it. I was really hoping they'd, do something with it, something different.
Nothing.
But I guess we shouldn't have expected it because there is no real reason why they should have changed it. But it would be nice, they're changing a lot. I was really hoping for that. But like with the drops after each match, the thing that like Pope Bear said, where he keeps going, the cool thing about that as well is there's stuff that I haven't even gotten from drops. There's ghost shells dropping for people.
Yeah.
There are artifacts dropping for people, and that's really cool. It makes you want to keep going, even if if I have friends and we're just trying to play for fun, and we lose for some reason we lose our 3 we get our 3 losses, we can get another card, go back in, and still get go for those really rare drops.
And it's dropping at hard mode raid levels, right?
Hard mode, yep. So you can get stuff at 316
at the higher.
Well, the higher wins. The higher wins,
specific, right? There seemed to be like 3 chunks of reward drops. In the first third, there wasn't really anything of substance. If you got a random drop, it was going to be a low light level, lower tier type of armor.
262, barely, really really low.
And then when you got into that middle tier, you had a higher chance of getting a nicer piece of armor. Maybe a little higher light.
What would you say the tiers are? Are you saying like once you got 3 wins?
Once you were in 4, 5, and 6, and then when you got into the higher wins, in that middle segment, you had a chance of getting a weapon, but it was rare. But then when you got into the higher tiers, you would be getting weapon drops, a higher frequency of weapon drops, and the armor would be at a higher light above 300.
Was it guaranteed above 300?
No, because I saw stuff dropping at 262 even at that high, but it seemed like there was as if you did the normal and hard raid together, there would be sometimes if you didn't do the normal raid and you did hard, you would get sometimes the normal drop and the hard drop. It felt like it was that same sort of reward system for trials where there was this chance of getting normal drops throughout the whole trials run, but then when you got into the higher portions there, it would also be factoring in this other, chance to get this raid quality armor. And I spent a lot of time in trials and really, really enjoyed it. I felt like when I got to 10-0 or 9-0 or 8-0, and you get to that 9 and you finish your trials card, continuing to play trials was what I felt like PvP should be like for me in a regular playlist. It was more competitive. I enjoyed the matches more. To me, it felt like even though there was more lag in the higher ranks, I felt like there was more chances for some random lag or bad connections. It felt like the overall gameplay and the competition was right on par where I feel like I should.
Did everybody feel there was more lag in the higher matches?
I didn't feel it was just random with me. I think it depends who you play with as well. But like Poper said about the competition, I also think a huge factor was the map itself. I think the map itself was just a difficult map to do a 3v3 or something this serious, which is a good thing. It's I was never used to doing 3v3s on. I'm used to the whole rift and control. So it was definitely new to me, and learning how, like, where to go, like who to pick off, where to go when picking people off. So like along with the competition getting even stronger as you went on, you're going against people who know the map as well. So the map definitely was a huge part of that on difficulty too.
Are there two tiers of gear like there were in the first Trials of Osiris? So it's like Watcher and Exile?
Yes.
It seems
there's the Watcher gear that drops, and then there's this. There's also the Exile gear, which can drop from end rewards. Like, could it drop from the lighthouse? I can't remember.
Can we say there's 3 tiers? Because you have the ones that are like 260s.
Yeah.
But then you also have the, like, you can get a scout at 306, but you can get that same scout from the chest, which is a black version of it. Like, it's a black skin version that can drop at 320. He has an adept version that can drop at 320, which is really cool.
So adept,
so it's like 3 tiers.
Adept versions don't have burns anymore. They don't have elemental burns.
No.
So what sets them apart other than the color?
No burns. Yeah, no burns.
Yeah, it's definitely light level.
Where you gain a buff to like handling and reload speed, while like that it's an intrinsic perk on it. So you don't have to.
The adept have
it has
an
built-in
extra
perks.
perk?
Oh, it's like built into it. You don't see it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You basically it's basically an exotic level where it's going to have this one perk. They're all going to have this one perk, and then they're going to have like their normal perk options.
Yeah, because we went to the lighthouse. I was with Oki, and he got a 320 hand cannon, which is pretty cool. That was awesome to see.
What do you guys like for weapons so far that you've gotten?
Oh my goodness!
I like none of them, honestly. At least I've gotten.
I fell in love with an auto rifle.
I've heard that auto rifle is good.
Yeah, I mean,
its perks are awesome. For an auto rifle, it's so good. The perks are so good for it.
I mean, do you think it's better than the Hawk style?
I took this thing into Crucible, and I haven't dropped below a 3.5 KD with it. It's just, and I'm not a 3.5 KD player. I'm like a 1.5 to 2.0. That's my kind of safe zone when it's a Atheon's epilogue, Dr. Nope type, right? But I got one with persistence, braced frame, and counterbalance, and I just felt like the perks really fit the guns and made me choose a play style and a way to approach it in Crucible.
What's the name of that auto rifle?
It's called the Doctrine of Passing.
I was playing a little Crucible today, and I saw that come up a few times, killing me. That's really the only one I saw come up kind of frequently. Is there any, like, how about the Scout Rifle, Pulse Rifle? Any of those any good?
The Pulse is good. The Pulse is good, but it's in the same level as the Raid Pulse, in my opinion. It has like a very visible amount of recoil, but when spec'd right, it has like straight, perfectly up recoil with no pull to it, so it's very easy to use.
And it's a high damage?
It's Nerwin's Mercy. Nerwin's Mercy style.
It's middle.
How do you guys like the Scout?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. Like, it shoots really fast and it's super cool, but I'm not a fan of it at all.
Anybody else got any favorite primary weapons that came out of this? No?
Nope.
Like
unless you call exotics from the chest, I guess.
Okay. How about
no trial
secondary
specific
weapons?
stuff?
Yeah, I mean, anything cool come out secondary weapon wise?
Yeah, I got 2 of the snipers out of the gold package, and I still haven't tried it yet.
What kind of damage does it do? Is it like LDR or is it a fast fire?
It's a low impact.
That's too bad.
It's like the previous Trials sniper.
Yep.
So it has and also has hidden hand on it. Actually, I don't know if all of them have hidden hand. Mine has hidden hand, so it comes with short gaze and snapshot built into it. A lot of people are going to be enjoying it, but you can't res snipe with it. So
the previous was the Eye of Soul. It wasn't a bad sniper. It was just in the same kind of. It was in the same class as, was it Praetor's Revenge? And there's no reason not to use Praetor's Revenge over it.
Yeah, its stability was so low on it. It's like, why are you going to have this
best
really
scout
high,
rifle in the game?
You have this really high rate of fire, and you can't make use of it because the stability is just so god awful.
Yeah.
It was more of a 66.
I mean, it was
for like popping off headshots because it had really good aim assist.
It's too bad that the sniper rifle isn't, exactly like an LDR. Like.
Well, I think that's something that they're trying
class.
to limit. Honestly, like res capable or res snipe capable snipers are. I don't think that's something they're trying to promote it, because that's. I mean, clearly it is the best type for trials because you can make sure someone stays down. Like that's.
Well, they give everybody a 1,000-yard stare for doing the story mode in the Arene's
They give everyone a choice for.
And the Arene's been available twice now from the Gunsmiths. I don't think they're trying to limit it too much.
But overall, most of the snipers that come from Legendary, that come from basically the Legendary ones that are out there right now, are not capable of being of res sniping. You only have, of the Legendary ones, you have Black Hammer and not Black Hammer. Well, yeah, we'll put it in there. We'll put Black Spindle in there. Black Spindle, 1,000-yard stare, Arene, and then Still Piercer, which can res snipe. Which, by the way, guys, I figured out why I didn't think that one was capable of res sniping, because the past few podcasts have been like, yeah, it's not capable of res sniping, and the comments have very much proved me wrong. Apparently, at least on mine, when I first compared it, the impact stat was wrong. Like the visible impact stat line was messed up or something.
I did the same thing because I remember looking at that too and seeing and just immediately thinking it couldn't red snipe, and then other people were like, "No, it can red snipe." And
I was like, "Wait,
what?" So did they patch that? Because I haven't since looked at it, even though I get domed on that all the time, and I'm just like angry over Still Piercers.
It's a good
Pope,
one.
how's the shotgun?
The shotgun is kind of blah. At least I got 2 different rolls of it.
Yeah.
And
good.
I was thinking that they were mainly.
It's similar to the old Trials one, honestly.
It felt like it would be better in PvE than in PvP. It's got a not great. It's like a high impact, low rate of fire, but then the range is really low. I mean, it's kind of with all the other options of shotguns out there, and how easy it is to get to get the D, when you're playing when you're playing conspiracy theory, but when you can give people the D with the conspiracy theory, and so it's just one of those things where I don't think many people are going to find themselves desiring the what do they call it? They call it the binary dawn.
How about the rocket launcher and the heavy? Anybody get those?
I got the machine gun. The machine gun is really good, but the old machine gun is really good too.
Yeah, low rate of fire.
No, it's in this. It's like the raid. It's like the raid machine gun, from what if I'm remembering it correctly. It's just really well built. It's good. I like it. Mine has like Zen Moment and brace frame on it, I think. So it's capable of being very stable. Yeah, I like it. It's good. Get it.
All right. Now, obviously, Sunbreakers are going to be pretty dominant here. What did you guys think of actually competing in the Trials of Osiris? Were Sunbreakers a problem you expected them to be?
Sunbreakers, I surprisingly went against more hunters. In my experience, I went against more hunters. Of course, when you hear that tink and you hear the Sunbreaker using the super, the best strategy I found for that was for everyone to split up and don't stop running, because that person's going to chase after you. He's going to waste his hammers. And then soon enough it'll go away, but it can definitely become something that can really just turn the game around if they're using that and they take advantage of it. But I actually found more hunters there, more golden guns and tethers. Surprisingly, I guess they didn't get the memo that the tethers the
tethers are
nerfed
absolutely
a little
horrible.
bit. Yeah,
they're absolutely horrible. Yeah.
Well, they were still very useful for taking away supers. That's why I with my trials runs, I found it most successful when we had at least one void hunter.
You know what else is really good at taking out a super? A golden gun shot.
Golden gun?
Yeah. Sometimes it takes when a Titan has gotten one kill.
I mean, it's two tap.
And they get the overshield. It takes 2 golden gun shots to kill him.
Yeah. Lumi and I lost, I think, 3 matches total when we were doing the carry. 3 or 4, I can't quite remember. And one of them, it went 4-4. And they had 2 Sunbreakers.
Oof.
And we lost because we lost literally because it was 2 Sunbreakers.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that one. That one
that was the reason.
That was rough.
But if they had 2 golden guns, wouldn't it have been a problem as well?
No, because we would have been able
you
to take them out.
You can prep a golden gun round.
As soon as they pop that, you're running a really risky situation of whether or not you challenge, or you run.
I think you're almost always running is the right idea.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time that's all you can do. So in those particular situations, it's like an auto win. I got really lucky and took out a Sunbreaker at the last second, but that was just luck that I was able to pull that off. So
Yeah,
it's not like you can count on
I killed, I think, maybe 1 or 2 during my trials passage. I mean, it's just the high armor that's on them. So pretty much the best strategy against a Sunbreaker is to run. And but the problem is if they use that super properly, because it lasts for I think 27 seconds standard. That's a very long time to run on a map that, frankly, you can get team shot on it while you're running. There's a lot of stuff that can happen during that 27 seconds while you're waiting for that super to run out.
Well, what's crazy about that melee, and this happened to me during trials. I didn't realize this. I took out a golden gun by punching him in the head, and I again, it was situational. I just reacted at the right time. I was boosting up. Golden gun came over, and I was coming down. I punched him in the head, and then there's a built-in like solar wind, so you get a huge amount of push from that melee, and the actual force of hitting him in the head and then him hitting the floor killed him. So because he had full health, and then punching the golden gun right in the head and him being forced into the floor killed him. And
that's not
I was like, I didn't even realize it at the time until somebody in the comments said that's what happened.
The Titans also got that one punch that adds burn and makes the guy explode if you kill him,
yes, right? Well, it doesn't add a burn. I don't think the melting point adds a burn to him. And if you can one punch someone with low armor and they will die with that. So like there's nothing else associated with it. You just punch them and then they will burn out.
Well, I think this thing that's powerful about like melting point in a game that is 3v3 where you're doing a lot of team shooting and you've got some guy covering you, with a scout rifle or a sniper, or you tag someone with melting point and they start weakening. But Titans were of the Titans, I ran into only one striker and the rest were all solar. I found that what was interesting in trials is that all 3 of the classes, the majority of the elemental types that I ran into were all solar. Yeah, for the most part.
I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
It's just and I don't know what to make of that other than just it was, they just all seem to be solar, the most powerful of the 3 classes for PvP.
I also try to keep in mind, I wonder if it's the map as well, like how the map is, how it's laid out, because we
haven't even gotten like into the discussion of like weapons that we saw being used.
That's
either,
true.
Which
That's
true.
And the map definitely affected that as well, which the map definitely affected which weapons we went in with, because if it was a closer, like a much more close range kind of a close quarter map, you probably would see more blade dancers or something like that. My first match, I lost really bad because I went in there with 2 snipers on my team, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna run shotgun, thinking I can, really do some good work with that. And the other team just constantly outplayed because of snipers. And this is definitely a really, really good sniper map, and it definitely affected how I went in for the future matches. I wouldn't switch to shotgun unless we had 1 or 2 of them switching to shotgun.
Well, I was gonna say, did you guys enjoy that aspect of it? Because in the lower side of the card, it felt like you get a bunch of teams that are hungry and want to just run in and get battles,
yeah,
which is fun. But then as soon as you get higher up in the card, it becomes a camping game. And I love sniping, but at the same time, I was like
I lost count how many matches. I lost count how many matches they were sitting like spawn, just waiting for us to poke out a little bit, and that's understandable. You have to play the game like that and pick people off, but it wasn't enjoyable for the most part, like having to constantly just do nothing for a minute and then try to see who pushes first. But that's how competitive gaming goes. It's all about who goes first.
That's true, but it felt like it was like, okay, let's go set up in our perches and see who gets.
No
picked
one ever
off
wanted to push
on whichever side of the team, and then we close in. Yeah,
we've seen that a lot.
It didn't
with
feel like there was any other
heavy
play style for the higher.
It makes sense, like I said.
To see, personally, I would like to see Trials of Osiris adopt some of the kind of tested out features of the Inferno playlist.
I want that so bad.
If we got an Inferno Trials, not full Inferno, but it would be sweet to have Inferno Trials, and I think it would be much more competitive and
what do you mean by adopt? What do you mean by adopt some things? Because pretty much the only thing that the only thing that Inferno has is a lack of radar.
No.
Well, you don't start with secondary.
There's no heavy, and there's no and special spawns not until like You don't spawn.
Yeah, you don't
I,
spawn.
I can understand special, but like heavy, that's only one round. Like that's only one round.
Well, no, it matters though. I think
it matters definitely
for competitive game modes. I think there's a lot of people who just kind of treat the heavy round as kind of a throwaway because it's.
Or a lot of competitive players just say don't use heavy.
Yeah,
like
they'll wave it off.
You know, like they wave and say let's not use
heavy.
Yeah,
like I always hated the heavy round in Trials because it always felt like a map that broke things off. It was like, all right, we're doing really good, and then now it forced players to play a specific way, which I guess that's what they're going for. But I never really enjoyed having to break off strategies because now we have to rush the heavy, which can give them a free round or can go our way and give us
I'd at least like to see it come up for a week.
Yeah, to try
Inferno Trials just for a week. Let's try it out.
I'd like to see it as like a selectable playlist, not as okay, this is Trials this week and it's Inferno. I'd like to see more like how Elimination is, where okay, for this week Elimination, like when Trials isn't active, we're gonna try it out in Inferno. Go play test it.
We could do that. I'm down for that
at all.
It would if it gets to the point where we're asking for the radar to be removed, I think it's time to rework the radar. Because me personally, I never liked the radar since the get go. I never liked it, and I don't think they need to remove it. Just you guys, we've seen them do good radars, obviously, in past games. Like
dude, Reach had the perfect radar.
Exactly, and it's like it
might be too detailed for this, but
yeah, definitely. And we're not asking to remove the radar because, like Holtzman said, we don't have enough information. We don't have enough sound to go off of.
I agree with that. I think they should revamp the radar in like Destiny 2. I think they should have some sort of evolution of it. But I also think on the competitive scene, I think they really do need to move away from radars because competitive scenes usually have no radar, and Trials is supposed to be.
Yeah, so the thing is, competitive has to do with map control and communication, and your teammates are your radar. You're working as a team to identify an area, visual sight lines, communication cues are communicated across the team, and then you act as a unit.
But Patrick's coming from a viewpoint of solo play, of saying he doesn't enjoy Inferno with the idea of being solo, and I think a lot of people would be in that feeling.
Yeah, I don't like it solo either.
But I think that the point is that more competitive gameplay is team based and would be better off without radar. I mean, I don't think I'm the case study because I enjoy Inferno regardless. I prefer going in Inferno solo or with the team. Like they've got Inferno Rumble right now, and I love it. I would actually prefer to play that most of my time. But also, I kind of live more off of like the visual / audio cues, and so that's because that's the way I play. Yeah, it's just the majority of the community I don't think wants to play that for casual, but I think the competitive community absolutely would love to take off the radar and just be like, whoever sees each other first, guess what? You got the drop.
And then it allows strategies like flanking maneuvers and stuff. I mean, actual team play. You can't do that in this game right now. You send somebody on a flanking route, and it's telegraphed on the radar because you can cover half the map with your radar.
Ultimately, I think true competitive play relies more on just pure visual and audio cues as opposed to a radar.
I agree. Because like Popper said, your teammates become the radar. You have someone over here, you post up over here, so now they're watching those angles. So now you have those call outs for your team.
Even when I'm playing solo and I go in there, when I see a teammate die, I automatically know somebody's over there. And it's easy for me to be like, to either sneak up or, flank all the way around. And usually I'm able to kill them when I see them. And I never have a problem with them running away because of the time to kill being too long. I usually can just spot them, drop a nade or something like that, and then I got them. Or if they're really good, then they reflank me and I'm dead.
I just think that there's a very easy solution here, and to create esports playlists where you would be able to satisfy a portion of your community that would like competitive gameplay. And in my opinion, that portion that plays competitively is fun to watch when they play really good players against really good players. And that builds the overall benefit for the community because there's a lot of people who would tune in to watch that.
I think they're going to have to strip off so much out of this game in order to make it truly competitive, because the supers and the exotics and all the variation of loadout stuff, it just is so difficult to make something competitive out of it without stripping so much out of it that it then doesn't become Destiny anymore. So Like while
in custom matches, I think all that you have to do is just put restrictions in custom matches. Like here's what's allowed, here's what's not allowed. Like you can set up a custom match to like Bungie used to do custom matches like nobody's business. They had the best in the game.
Yeah.
You know, and like to me, it was really surprising that Destiny released without that because I thought that was what Halo was known for. You know,
absolutely.
Like,
that's what I lived in was custom matches.
Yeah,
I think custom matches would have been a great way to try
about
them
custom
out.
matches a lot on this
Like,
podcast. I don't know
I think
how much
custom
more we wanna
games
do
would have
it.
been a great way for Bungie to really try out, see what the community is making, what community is constantly doing in custom games. What are they doing that's close to competitive that you see them constantly doing, making their own tournaments? What rules are they applying? What is the community agreeing on in custom games that they see fit? And there's so much, like you said, there's so much you can strip, but there's also you don't have to strip, but you can also limit. So supers is something that's big. It's something that really makes Destiny split away from a lot of things. The super and the abilities. What they can do is they can limit which perks can be used on classes. They can limit how many times a super can be used in a match. So maybe one super per match or something like that. There's just so much to try it out. And I think custom games would be a great way to try that out. Let the community try it out. What does the community like? What are they constantly going to? And just see where it goes from there. Like try it out with custom. Try it with the community first.
Maybe I just feel like we've waited so long, and I feel like Bungie's like, you don't understand what it takes to do these changes. That I feel like every request now, like I would love it to be able to say, hey, at 5 minutes, everyone gets their supers. And you can only use it once. So intellect is essentially useless at that point. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but I worked hard to get this armor that has intellect, and now it's useless for a competitive match. And that's why I'm saying
I would hate to see him do that. I'd hate to see him do that. I like.
But that's the thing, though, Brian. That's the thing.
Competitive
Like
Call of Duty, and they're allowed to use the kill streaks. I like when I'm watching competitive games and they're allowed to do the big bombastic stuff. And I would hate to see Destiny come to like an esports league and get like major play on, MLG TV or Twitch, and it doesn't have some of the coolest stuff in the game.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, it has to limit it, though.
Yeah, it has to limit. Like I've never seen a Call of Duty esports.
That's okay. You can limit it, but I want to see it. I want it to be in there. I want that game to still look like the game I can.
And that's
play
totally
at home.
possible. I think it's totally possible, honestly. And like I totally see your point, and I totally agree to an extent. But I've never seen an esports game, at least first person shooter wise, that has kept the big flashy stuff, because it was never about the flashy stuff. It was always about that person's skill.
Best season of Call of Duty, in my opinion, was Black Ops 2, and they kept kept the kill streaks.
They did, and it worked.
And it was my favorite for that reason. Season of
they
Call
did
of
it for
Duty.
that reason. They wanted to show the player at home that these pro players were using the same game that they were using.
And they did limit it versus some of them weren't allowed.
Yeah.
Some of the kill streaks just straight up weren't allowed, but a lot of them were. And watching the pro teams play and kind of plan out when they should use these kill streaks, what situation is best.
There you go. You just answered it. Like, that's a great way to do it for this.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's essentially what Versus was talking about. It's like saying you can't use these
yeah, I agree with them.
Yeah. So like certain things.
But at the same time, I don't think you should be able to spec for intellect and get more super than the other people.
Yeah, they're probably
in one match. I think one super is plenty for a competitive match.
And what they can do is they can have set rules to it where as soon as that game mode is like, they can have like, if you do it for maybe say for custom games, that game mode itself, if it's like an esports game mode, it cuts that off. So now all those stats are locked to a certain max for everyone. So now that everyone has the exact same stats. And like you said, you can only do it once.
But then you limit how, like, if you have one guy's role is the Slayer on the team, and his whole role is just to stay back, stay safe, but get kills from long range, just so he can build up his super faster. And then he brings that super out at a key moment. Like, I would like to see intellect definitely.
I think there's a way to do it.
I'd like to see that.
I think there's a way to do it, but you in Inferno you get your super based on kills. You get your energy towards your super are based off of kills, but not off of like assists and other things like that. You could choose to spec your character for high intellect, and you would get a greater percentage of that value of that kill to your super, but you would also be weaker in these other areas. So you could choose to super quickly, but then you would have low defense in other areas.
I know one thing we could all agree on, and that's that custom games would be a huge bonus to this game.
Yes, without a doubt.
It would be so popular.
Yeah, it would definitely help the streaming community a hell of a lot more too. Just because, like, Now we can actually
being able to
stream and set up a tournament without having to. Okay, so I'm located in New York. You're located in Tennessee. You're located in Florida. Okay, our opponent's closest person lives in Iceland. Okay, let's see how long this takes to match up.
Yeah, and that even like if custom games is good. Not even like for things outside of esports, just like we're talking about now, for streaming, for YouTube, creating YouTube content, for just plain fun.
Oh my god, if I could,
what I'm excited
if I could test weapon damage, but just by setting up a game. Oh my god.
And like I'm looking forward.
So much easier.
I'd love to see how people take modes, because I do this thing. Tefty's done it with me as well, where we play hide and go seek rumble, and what that would be is everyone's like, you have one person who's everyone's hiding in rumble, and that person needs to look for them. And I'm looking forward to see how people can take these game modes and add their own twist to them and make them fun, like how Halo used to be, where you go to custom games, make your own infection matches, all that stuff. And I think that'd be really cool to see in Destiny. See what kind of things the community can create, what kind of different game modes that people are like, hey, can we all go play this? Can we all go play this game mode that we made? You know, that'd be really fun.
Yeah, or a Forge World in Destiny. Oh my god.
Well, and I know we started this conversation with like Trials of Osiris and competitive gaming, and we end up in custom modes, which it seems like a lot of our
it got triggered because of the no radar.
It always ends up here.
It got triggered because of no radar. That's what happened.
But going back to Trials of Osiris and what it felt like this time, it felt more competitive. It felt more. The rewards were better.
Oh no, you're correct. I've had a lot of people come into my chat and say, I only won 2 matches, or I haven't even won a single match. I haven't gone to the lighthouse. Constantly, people this time around are telling me that they haven't gone to the lighthouse compared to last time, where they can get carried easier, or LFG and all that stuff. But this time, a lot of people have been telling me that they have not gone to the lighthouse, which is it's good for us, people like us who are into the competitive. But to them, they're like all bummed out about it, and like you said, it makes it way more meaningful this time. Definitely.
Exactly, it does make it more meaningful. I think that's one of the things that we need to keep in mind is this is supposed to be hard to obtain. It's supposed to be difficult.
And you can go in there and get a trials card and play and not win any matches, right? You can just go in there and have fun and try, be competitive with some friends and still get rewards.
And the gold tier package, like the gold tier bounty package, literally doesn't require any wins. It just means if you go and suffer enough and are able, I think it's if you're able to get 75 kills, which if you suffer long enough, I'm sure you'll be able to get there. And then actually just complete 10 matches, you'll get a gold tier reward.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You have to, if you lose or if you fill up all your losses, does that nullify the ticket then? Do you have to get a new ticket to keep playing?
Yeah, you have to get a new ticket.
So actually, I mean, you still have to win 6 games for those people in order to get that gold tier package.
No.
Actually, hold up.
The bounty is complete.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
The bounty is for completion.
Yeah, the bounty is complete. Yeah, so you can actually do it regardless of the ticket. Yeah, okay, I didn't think about it. So yeah.
Right.
So you can actually go in there, lose 10 times, and then get your gold tier package, which honestly, in my opinion, I think the gold tier package is more worth it than the lighthouse.
No, it is.
In my opinion.
The silver and gold tier packages can give exotics. The silver tier.
Yeah, exactly.
I got I think it was a 312 last word from the silver tier package.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way it was in year 1 also. I remember getting a couple exotics from silver. But yeah, in my opinion, like for the rewards, I thought the lighthouse was kind of meh to me. But the gold package was better, and they made the gold package the easiest way to get. So I wasn't sure about that, if you had to be on a ticket the whole time for that or not. So I guess not. And the adept weapons are the gold medal essentially of getting to the lighthouse. And the adept weapons, in my opinion, are not, like, I'm still using my hacksaw. Even though I got the doctrine of passing.
That thing's a monster.
It is a monster. I got one with Headseeker now, and it's even more of a monster.
Yeah, mine's got Headseeker. It is badass.
I think back to one of the discussions that we wanted to do. What type of weapons were you guys seeing in Trials of Osiris?
Pulse rifles.
Neuron's, Mercy.
I saw a lot of Hawksaws. I want a 1,000-yard stare that comes with the Outlaw and Firefly, and one of my mods has it, and she just got into Destiny, and she doesn't know what she has. Like, she's just like, what is this? Oh, like, you understand you have the best role right now. She has short gaze on it. And it came with short. It came with short gaze and the one right above it, and Firefly Outlaw. And I was like, like, do you understand what you have right now? And she was like, no, what? I was like, you got like one of the most godly roles. She was like, oh, okay. And she didn't care because she just started, so she doesn't know what she has. But it was really funny to see that and really cool.
I know I'm going to be really unpopular for trying to make a transition here. Can I set this one up?
Go ahead.
All right. So Activision Publishing CEO Eric Hirschberg was on an earnings call, and he was specifically asked about kind of the future of DLC and microtransactions inside Destiny. And this kind of comes on the heels of that Kotaku article that we all read. Was that a couple of weeks ago now?
I mean, the Kotaku article was
basically
at the same time as the Eververse releasing.
Yeah.
Right. Kotaku basically reported that the Eververse is going to be funding future DLC, right? So we would no longer be buying DLC like the Dark
Can you
Below or House
repeat
of
that
Wolves,
statement one more
the
time?
Eververse.
Can you repeat that statement one more time? The whole Kotaku thing.
Kotaku stated that we would no longer be buying DLC, that it would be funded by the Eververse trading company.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what Kotaku said, right? Is that we're not going to be buying DLC like the Dark Below or House of Wolves. It's going to be funded by the Eververse. Well, Hirschberg, who's the CEO of Activision Publishing, had this to say: "We had a full year of expansions to the game that have been very, very well received and sold quite well. More recently, you've seen us introduce smaller in-game purchases that allow people to customize their experiences and express themselves. Those have been very well received and have sold well also. I think we've already shown that DLC and microtransactions can coexist and that our community is hungry for more great content." I think what's important here is that he's not saying that they're going to stop doing paid DLCs. They're going to continue to do microtransactions and probably also continue to do paid DLCs.
Well, yeah. And so here's the question. Was he talking about the Taken King being a paid DLC and, not necessarily saying that it's going to be sprinkled throughout the year, but like these major DLCs like how World of Warcraft is? Oh my gosh, I said World of Warcraft reference. Good God. Or is he talking about more Dark Below, House of Wolves, and then we're all going to cringe and want to bleed anger and vengeance?
So right, he's not spilling the beans, right? He's not gonna jump that out and ruin Bungie's thunder on that. But what he is saying is that there is room for DLC and microtransactions to coexist, and that the DLC was well received for year one. Seems like they don't have a plan on changing that. From what I'm reading into this, is like he's well aware of that Kotaku article and he's setting expectations. That's how I'm reading this.
Okay.
The whole Kotaku thing and the fact that not everyone even knows it was Kotaku. A lot of people out there are assuming it was Bungie that said it themselves because a lot of people are misinformed.
Well, I mean,
you hear one thing from a friend
too. Like we clearly were talking like, oh well, Bungie said this. Well, Bungie said this when. Yeah, oops.
Do you think Bungie should have said something in public and be like, "Hey, we never said that"? Like, don't. But do you think that would have messed up the test thing? Maybe if they said it publicly, people wouldn't have maybe been so inclined to buy the stuff from Tess.
I don't
know. That's what my question is. Like
maybe they didn't.
Bungie was clear what this stuff is.
Yeah, but they never said no though.
They said this is for the live team. The live team does this, and that. Mm-hmm. They said that.
Okay.
Yeah,
they never said that this is gonna fund future DLC. They never made any.
But you know how people are. You know how like the masses are.
Kind of.
They get one thing and they just fly with it.
Well, I think this is part of the continuous sort of problem.
Miscommunication
something that I've sort of been annoyed with since the very beginning is the lack of transparency with what they're doing and the community. Like, I really want more communication. I understand they have the right to fund their game. They have the right to make money as a business. They have the right to pay for the content that's being created by these people that are extremely talented. And I enjoy playing their content. But you never go wrong with good communication, in my view. And it feels like we don't get that. We have to, it's fun to pick apart. That's sort of the fun part of reading the weekly update, is sort of guessing what they're doing. But sometimes that guessing gets really annoying. And I just want them to list what's on the DLC. This is how much you're going to pay for this. And this is exactly what you're going to get.
All right. I normally agree with you on this, Pope. Is I would like to see more clarity, but in the case of like announcing DLCs early, I think that's risky business for Bungie. You know, if they have to delay it, that's going to create a lot of.
I'm not talking early, Briar. I'm not talking like way in advance. I'm saying like when they get to the marketing port of it, like right now we're talking big global 3,000 foot elevation type comments, like the live team makes content for this type of content is what the live team does. Communication is what I'm talking about. The live team
isn't that what they did though? They told us what the live team does.
But they didn't explicitly say that the Eververse Trading Company's content, purchases will go towards funding these specific types of things, that the live team does, and then we will see the raid teams and strike teams forming that will be paid DLC. Would that not have clarified everything for us?
Yeah, it would have. If they actually had said this will not fund future DLC, there will still be paid DLC. Then, but I feel like this really comes out of that Kotaku article. We heard about the Eververse Trading Company from Bungie. Then we heard about the Kotaku stuff where Kotaku says this is going to fund future DLC. And now we're hearing from Activision. No.
Well, we got it. We got, to be honest with you, the leak, the Eververse Trading Company was released early because of a leak.
What?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. I don't think they were planning on releasing that stuff. To me,
I didn't know about
the
that.
article came out from Kotaku first. Then Bungie put out the information on it, didn't they? Well,
yeah, but here's the thing, though. In the public's eye, we don't look at which news source we're getting it. We just think we heard this, and this is what we know
in the news,
now.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's the problem.
I watched this on Fox
nobody's
News versus.
Thinking, nobody's thinking, oh, Kotaku said this, but they're unreliable, so I'm not going to pay attention.
Yeah, so like,
right.
Yeah, like they're all thinking.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Is their response to that should be a, here's the content that's coming out, and this is how we can clarify it, so there's no confusion. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's Activision CEO saying DLC and microtransactions can coexist. Maybe that is the response.
It's very possible.
Now?
The fact of
Yeah,
a
now it
non-answer
is.
in his response, it could very well be the response that you're looking for right now. The fact that we're planning to go forward with this is that level of transparency. Of course, it's Activision level transparency, so we're never going to get.
I guess that's you're right, Brian or Patrick.
Make sure you wear rubber.
That's where I'm frustrated. Right? You're absolutely right, and Patrick, that is exactly where I'm frustrated. Right there, right?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a more clarity in that type of statement? And I understand he's the CEO of Activision, but that's what I expect out of leaders of companies is clarity. And I don't see clarity there. I see more, smoke and mirrors of what they're doing.
Maybe.
Well, do you see clarity with Bungie though? Because I don't.
No.
Really see
I don't
clarity
see it
with
either. Not at all.
I mean,
I think
I'm
that's
not
what Pope
giving
was
them a
saying.
free-
Yeah.
I'm not giving them a free pass on this. The reality is that here we are, misled, miscommunicated, and with incorrect information. And the person that's being blamed for this is Bungie, right? The group that's being blamed for this is Bungie. But the reality is, it's leaked information that was inaccurate. What are we supposed to expect? So I think that there should be more clarity from Bungie and from Activision, so that we don't get crap like this. So that we don't get,
Because now Bungie's got kind of a PR problem, right?
Yes,
is if they
exactly.
are planning on releasing $20 DLC in December or January or February, all of a sudden, wait a minute, you told us that Tess Everest is paying for this. Yeah. Oh, no, we didn't.
And that's when people are like, well,
Kotaku told you
who
that.
started? Everyone's to be like, because like who started this? We were told by my friends that Bungie, said this. So now it's like Popper said, it's a huge miscommunication between it all. And hopefully Bungie comes out and really puts the nail on it and says what we need to know about it, because. Going back to the topic on how we feel about it.
It's like they need a PR person.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I think everything comes from the community managers, right? It comes with like Deej and Cosmo. But, like, are they the ones that everyone's expecting to really talk for them? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like they need a specific person that only handles PR, that says when such and such news outlet has misinformation, they need to put the fans on ease, or just let the fans know, for God's sakes, what is what in it, because it's so confusing. And for me, as somebody who's incredibly invested in the game, it makes me kind of nauseous, because I'm like,
I don't know what the hell to believe anymore.
People are going to feel really deceived. Exactly. They're going to be like, hey, I bought this, with the intentions of helping this game get paid DLC for everyone else, like non-paid DLC.
That was literally said by a few people in my clan. They're like, I am funding future DLC for you, as he was buying.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm like, but people keep saying it to me. It's like, hey, thanks for helping us get free OD. So I'm constantly getting told when I'm buying packages and stuff like that, like, hey, I may not be the person that buys this stuff, but thank you for doing this, because now I'm going to get this future stuff for free. And now those people are going to be like, what? Like, you just said this and you just said that. And back to the whole conversation, how we feel about it, because we've been talking about the PR part of it, but we haven't really talked about how we feel about what if it's actual true, where we have to pay for it plus the microtransactions. And me personally, I went into tests because we got the information about free stuff afterwards. I went in with the test stuff with the intentions of getting bonus stuff, like stuff that I can buy that doesn't really affect the game itself, and I was already expecting to pay for the future DLC anyway. So it doesn't really affect me much, but like we said before, I totally understand how people can feel deceived because of all of this.
What if someone out there, I'm sure there are people that have to budget their game, and if they're under the assumption that, hey, I don't have to save that $20 to buy this DLC, I can totally buy on these cosmetic items because I've been told that this.
They explicitly said this is what this is for.
Yeah, but it's also, remember, not everyone reads those. They come to people like, the faces of the community, streams, videos, to really get their information from. Not everyone reads that stuff. And
there's a reason why.
And people skip through it. They skim through it.
There's a reason why people come into my streams and go, hey, what should I take away from the newest weekly update? Hey, like they come to us for a lot of the news sources. And they don't even read the Bungie weekly update. I have to field a lot of questions about weapon
what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to explain it to us over and over again every time?
No, not at all. But it's just
it's.
I feel like I haven't been explained it though.
This Kotaku article was a hit piece, and it picked up a lot of popularity, and now unfortunately Bungie's got to deal with it.
I think they need to make the logical argument the next step after that is, what other types of content are we going to be releasing, and how is that going to be funded? You can't give partial information is just as bad as misinformation. That's where I'm spreading the blame equally here. Misinformation is it goes from inaccurate information as well as not enough information. So I guess in my answer to you, Briar, yes, they do need to spend more time focusing on the information that goes to the community, so that we know where we can, save our money and spend it wisely. Consumers like to know what they're spending their money on. They obviously are evolving and adapting as they're learning this year how to survive as a company, and that's going to happen. Great. Well, we all know that they are adapting and they're changing in their approach. But with that comes a communication piece that says, hey, we're changing directions on the way that we're doing this, and we're doing it in this way. Come with us, support us. We're changing directions in this way. We're going to pay for this kind of content because we want to get it to you, but we don't have it in our current funding structure to be able to provide it. So we're going to sell these visual artifacts things, and that money is going to go to this type of content so that we can provide it for you. Isn't that great?
I wonder if they're just waiting for November to be over before they start announcing stuff. November's a huge gaming month. We got Black Ops 3 coming out. We got Fallout 4 coming out. Huge things are coming out in November. I'm just wondering if they're just waiting for
all these disappointing games that I'm hardly ever going to play.
I'm just wondering if December rolls around and they're going to start another media push. Because they started really early for Taking King.
I know. Well, of course, they're going to start thinking it's a much larger expansion, and I guess it made sense to do it around E3 time, because that's pretty much the world's largest. That's one at least America will pay attention to the most. I'm already experiencing burnout, or not already. I am experiencing burnout heavily right now. I'm really glad that I'm taking this 4 or 5 day vacation. I don't even know how long it is.
Watch Netflix.
You play Destiny very differently than most people.
I know. But I can completely understand why, if people that don't play as much as me are also burnt out on it. It's burnout is always there, and I definitely feel that now is about the time that people are going to start feeling that burnout.
It's going to be a good month for gamers in general.
It is absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just like you said, but there's also Tomb Raider coming out. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
For Xbox people, like, there's a lot of great games coming out, and I know Bungie has definitely got it on the radar. They have to know that there's going to be all this interest in other games that's going to happen.
Tomb Raider's coming out
4.
the same day as Fallout 4. What the fuck?
No, it's
You
Tomb Raider
idiots.
17.
I don't know why they would do that.
Tomb Raider.
No, it's the same day. It's on Tuesday.
Is it the 10th?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just so you know,
Raider.
non-sponsor message. So if you guys are interested in those games, actually we saw something Target's doing a buy two get one free. So if you guys want to pick all those up at once, that'd be like the perfect time to do a starting Sunday.
And FYI, as an ex-Target employee, if you go ahead and you can use that deal at any point, just save all the games and then return them and get that one game free. A month later if there's a new thing that you want to go out and get. Just saying,
Damn.
Hot tip.
keep
By the way, hey Target, I'm going to help you out a little bit more.
Podcast
I'm going to help you out a little bit more, even though I hate Target. Hey, you want to save 5% by getting a red card, but you don't actually want to have a red card? Boom, go get the red card, and then you buy your shit with it, and then you go immediately cancel it right after. Or that's the debit card version, but that one takes a while. Or you can do the credit card version.
We are opening some old wounds.
Oh
for
my
old
god, the
wounds.
credit card version.
What have we done?
The salt is pouring.
People
Can we do like a
hated
Target
me.
cast sometime next week?
People
Just
hated
talk
me.
about your Target stories.
Yeah. People hated me at Target because I would be like, hey, yeah, you want to save 5%? Like, no, I want a new credit card. I'm like, okay, well, do you want to just still get the deal and then not have to worry about interest rates? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, buy it, pay off the credit card bill at customer service, and then call this number and cancel 5 minutes from now. And then they'd be like, hell yeah, and it would look really good on my report because I signed someone up for a red card. Yeah.
Next thing you know, Tesla will be starting offering cards, for cheaper silver and stuff like that.
Dude, there you go. Bungie's coming out with the credit card.
The credit card.
By the way, guys, sign up for a PlanetDestiny rewards card. And we'll give you 5% off of every YouTube video we make.
That's right.
Wait, what?
Oh my god.
How does that work?
We take up don't
worry about
we had
the
like an
details,
extra
just sign up.
we had like an extra 6 seconds of the video or something for them.
The CEO of Target has got to be smoking some giant cigar, like some really deep mahogany desk that fits like 20 people, and he's alone in a room, and like the walls have leather on them and stuff, and
he's sitting down
going there.
I'm
going to
enjoy my PlanetDestiny podcast. This is one of the highlights of my week. The CEO of Target is an avid listener to the PlanetDestiny podcast, and he's just sitting there yelling at his butler now, going, Alfred, get in here right now. What is this? What have you done to my podcast? This is my favorite time of the week when I can be alone without all these peasants around here.
Bring me the blood of an employee of Target. I need to drink it.
Fun fact, my khakis, I actually own 2 pairs of pants. Both of them are permanently dyed red around the waistline from the red Target shirts I had to wear all the time.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I used to fix cash registers at Target, and the insides were filled with red fuzz.
Yep.
Really?
From the red shirts, yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Ugh.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah. We'll make a salty Target and Comcast podcast at some point in our lives. I'm sure it'll be when I actually have Google Fiber, and then I can just speak from my pulpit of gigabit internet, and
before Comcast listens and they're like, yo, this guy hates us, let's make his life even worse.
Oh no,
let's make his voice silent on the internet by turning off.
They already have dedicated people to me on Twitter. I can post something, and I don't even have to tag them, and they respond. It's great. Well, guys, that was the 43rd PlanetDestiny podcast. If you wanna hear more from me, you probably can't find me this week because I'll be on vacation. But if you want to view my past content, you can go to PlanetDestiny.com, watch the videos, go on Twitch, watch my past broadcasts. I won't be streaming this week because, as I've said before, I'm on vacation.
I think you've mentioned.
I'm happy for you, Patrick.
Hey, what's going on this week? What are you doing this week?
I think Patrick's going on vacation.
Oh, vacation this week. This week, right? This week specifically. This week.
Yeah, this week. Yeah.
Does that mean you're going back to World
Vacation
War?
starting this week.
No, I'm going to the San Juan Islands in the Pacific Northwest. I'm gonna go sit in a cabin with no internet access, and
terrifying.
No internet access. It does have electricity though, which is good. And just sit there and not really do anything. I'm gonna read. I'm going to not really do much.
I give you 2 days before you're freaking clawing at the walls, like in The Shining moment where you're stabbing through the door, seeing ghosts.
No, that'll be me like on the plane.
When
ride
will we see the
back
first tweet?
Until dawn, here we come.
When will we see the first vacation tweet?
The first vacation tweet. I don't know.
Enjoying myself a lot. Talk to you guys on Monday.
Cell phone access on the island is very, very limited. So we'll see if at least last time I was there. It's been about 5 years since I've been. So.
All right. I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me at The Briar Rabbit on Twitter. You can find me on the Briar Rabbit channel on YouTube or on PlanetDestiny.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Check out some of the videos I do on my personal channel as well, Tefty Teft Games. Catch the streams that I do for PlanetDestiny as well. And that's pretty much it.
And this has been Pope Bear, and you can always find me tweeting on Twitter at Pope Bear. And I stream on the PlanetDestiny channel, so that's Planet_Destiny. And
And I am Versus the Stream.
Planet_Destiny.
And you can find me at Versus the Stream. That's VERSUS, not just the VS, but Versus the Stream on Twitter. And you can catch me on the Planet Destiny Twitch channel on weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys for having me on again.
Always appreciate having the world second on the podcast.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Anyway, guys, I got a plane to catch. So I'm ending this one. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.